hurts what you think of people in general.
Workers at a Central Kentucky racetrack tell us they're frustrated tonight after thieves caused a lot of damage.
A truck lost part of its load on a busy Lexington road tonight, causing a headache for drivers.
They've been called heroes for what they did to save lives or stop crime. And tonight, they received a special honor from Lexington Police.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 11.
Good evening. The biggest race in the track's history is just 3 days away, but the promoter of a Lincoln County racetrack says thieves tried to put up a roadblock.
He says thieves stole copper wiring and other equipment from Ponderosa Speedway just south of Junction City. Now his crew is rushing to make repairs in time for the race Friday night. Monique Blair has our top story at 11.
It's been a headache.
Early this morning, Ponderosa Speedway promoter Jerry Denson was grooming the track for Friday, when it will host the biggest event it has had in 43 years.
I noticed a wire hanging down from one of my caution lights, and I got to looking, and that had been cut.
Denson says thieves stole more than 100 pounds of copper wire, 3 machinery batteries, and a ladder.
I didn't even notice that one.
And while showing us the damage, Denson found even more than he originally thought.
I would like to find out who did it. I mean, it's just make people aware of what people are willing to go through to make maybe $100. The batteries they stole cost me $150 a piece to replace, and I think they bring $8 at the scrap yard.
But he says this major theft couldn't have been easy, as the copper wasn't easy to get to.
Because it was partially buried in the ground.
The wire that was stolen overnight started at this light post behind me and went all the way around the track to the other side, which was about 1,000 feet. And today the new wire that was hung 16 feet in the air in an effort to make it less accessible to criminals.
I'm going to install a camera system.
And now as Denson and several volunteers work quickly to get the track ready for Friday, he says it's not about what he's lost that upsets him the most.
It don't really hurt the business because I'm fixing what they done. It just hurts what you think of people in general.
In Lincoln County, Monique Blair, WKYT.
The Lincoln County Sheriff's Office is contacting all scrapyards in the area to alert them of this copper theft. Now to a breaking news alert that we're tracking in Perry County tonight. Police say a man has been airlifted to the hospital after being shot. It happened about an hour ago in the Erie community. Police haven't said what led to the shooting, and we also don't know the man's condition. We'll have updates on WKYT.com and on WKYT News this morning.
Republican candidate for governor James Comer said today some abuse allegations a former girlfriend made against him are not true. Comer held a news conference in Lexington today with his wife by his side. The former girlfriend, Marilyn Thomas, told the Courier-Journal that Comer was mentally and physically abusive during the relationship. She also claims Comer became enraged in 1991 after finding out she used his real name on a form at an abortion clinic in Louisville. Comer denied all those allegations. He blamed his political rivals for the claims.
You know, this symbolizes this type of dirty gutter politics, symbolizes everything that I'm against.
Comer says he might pursue legal action against the Courier-Journal and Thomas. The accuser has supported another Republican candidate, Hal Heiner, on social media and has donated money to his campaign. All 4 Republican candidates for governor will take part in a debate tomorrow. This is a picture from Kentucky Sports Radio, which is hosting the debate at a radio station in Louisville. James Comer, Hal Heiner, Matt Bevin, and Will T. Scott will debate the issues tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. The debate will air statewide on stations that carry Kentucky Sports Radio.
Some Urban County Council members say they've been left in the dark about the city's recent decisions about the Centrepointe project. City leaders sent developer Dudley Webb a letter demanding the block be filled in. Webb responded with threats of legal action against the city. During a work session today, some council members said they weren't included in discussions that city leaders had about Centrepointe, which they referred to as the topic, and they said their questions weren't being answered.
At one point, we're a legislative body, a deliberative body, an interested body. And I just wonder, in this relative time frame or group of events, how were we left out of any part of any conversation that related to the topic?
Mayor Jim Gray responded by saying his administration was only doing what they believe to be the right choice in holding Webb responsible. Now, it appears Jeff Ruby isn't giving up on putting a new restaurant here in Lexington. Ruby was one of the tenants in the Centrepointe project, but on Twitter last week, he implied the restaurant wouldn't happen there. Tonight, we spotted Jeff Ruby's bus parked in front of the Old Bellini's restaurant on Main Street, just down from Centrepointe. Ruby wouldn't tell us why he was in town, but in a tweet tonight, he said, quote, "I love Lexington. I bleed blue. I will open there." Bellini's closed earlier this year. The building was sold at auction, and the new owner plans to redevelop the building.
Pretty strange sight on a busy Lexington road tonight. Firefighters say dozens of propane tanks fell off a truck and onto Paris Pike. As Garrett Weimer tells us, the driver of that truck didn't stop. He has the story new at 11 tonight.
It doesn't always take much to back up traffic. But as rush hour came to a close here on Paris Pike, nearly 30 propane tanks plus a busy road equaled a bit of a headache for some drivers. Firefighters say it happened when a delivery truck turned from Old Paris Road onto Paris Pike.
Its side door was open and several crates of cylinders had fallen out of the truck.
Major Hounds says the driver apparently didn't know the propane tanks had rolled into the road because he didn't stop and then got on the interstate. Witnesses first thought one of the tanks might have exploded, but thankfully that was not the case.
Propane obviously is explosive in the right circumstances. Luckily, these cylinders are designed to withstand a whole lot of mechanical abuse like this. So, and this incident just goes to prove that even in a mishap like this, the cylinders survived with relatively minor damage.
Firefighters say none of the tanks exploded and none of them even leaked. In Lexington, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Firefighters took the tanks back to the fire department until someone from the company could come pick them all up.
A summer-like weather pattern continues across the Bluegrass tonight, with temperatures still running well above normal. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey joins us now with an early look at your forecast. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Amber. This pattern locking in for the next several days. It's one that, as you mentioned, continues to bring the above-normal temperatures to not only Kentucky. We're not going to be greedy with it, but we're sharing it with our neighbors from the Ohio Valley all the way into the Deep South. And a couple of the reasons that we're seeing this big warm-up is this high pressure that is anchoring itself across the mid-Atlantic states and a low pressure underneath that tries to keep everything kind of backed up a little bit. But the flow is from the south and southwest. That's a very warm setup across the Bluegrass state. Today it produced temperatures into the low and mid-80s. Tomorrow we may do that a little bit better. Our Cinco de Mayo is wrapping up with temperatures mainly into the mid and upper 60s now. 65 into Lexington, 68 showing up here into downtown Richmond. Live first alert defender, nothing is going on. Had a little spotty shower thunderstorm out there earlier, but when I come back in a few minutes, the focus of the forecast is on running into a brick wall. No, I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about the overall weather pattern, guys. I will show you what I mean by the brick wall in about 10 minutes.
Well, that's good news, Chris. We were worried there for a second. Well, they went above and beyond to save lives or fight crime. Tonight, Lexington police honored both police officers and regular citizens who did some extraordinary things in the last year.
And among those who received awards tonight, a woman who fought off robbers at her store. Jordan Valines was at tonight's awards banquet.
The outstanding actions of this self-proclaimed introvert landed her on center stage Tuesday night.
This is not something I was expecting to get an award for.
Zara Adil found herself standing in front of hundreds hired to protect and serve, now honoring her for her heroism.
You have to basically step in as the cop and as a civilian and take a stand. Cops can't be there 24/7.
In February, Adil took matters into her own hands when two men tried to rob her family's tobacco store on North Broadway.
He went for the register because it was still open, and then I got mad, and I jumped onto his hoodie and pulled him and got the register and the gun from him.
All that after shooting the man in the shoulder with his own gun.
I pulled his mask off to see who it was, and he was like, "Just let me go, just let me go."
Adil's instinct to fight back, she says, came from the fact that her father and mother had both been robbed on separate occasions at their store just a few months before.
For us, it's like our income. That's the only thing we're living off of.
And she wasn't going to let that happen again.
We're working like 16-hour shifts to earn our money, and these guys come in instead of getting themselves a job and working hard and stuff, and I'm not going to let somebody do that. You know, it's not fair.
What many would consider fair, though, is this young woman on stage receiving an award for courage, while one of the men who robbed her sits in jail. In Lexington, Jordan Valines, WKYT.
Well, I wouldn't mess with her. While police officers commended her for her actions, they also would not recommend others putting themselves in such a dangerous situation.
They say they're getting closer to justice. In 9 minutes, friends of a Lexington man killed while delivering pizzas reacts to a second arrest in the case.
And then some tense moments for firefighters in an eastern Kentucky community today. A forest fire got dangerously close to some homes.
Lexington police have arrested a second man for the murder of a pizza delivery driver last month.
Police charged Cameron McClellan with murder and robbery. The other suspect, Antonio Lewis, faces the same charges. Police say the victim, Salahuddin Jitmood, was stabbed while delivering a pizza on Trent Circle. Friends of the victim say that his family wants those responsible brought to justice, but they also say they hope that Jitmood will not be forgotten.
One of the things Salahuddin would want for people to understand is simply to respect one another and respect their voices, to join hands to do good in this world.
Lexington police have not said how they linked McClellan to the murder, only that the details would come out in court.
A Knox County woman is fighting for her life tonight after a crash. It happened this afternoon on Highway 25E near Knox Central High School. Police say a car driven by 54-year-old Brenda Laws hit the back of a tractor trailer. Police say Laws was airlifted to a Tennessee hospital where she's listed in critical condition. A passenger in the car, Tracy Laws, was also airlifted to a hospital.
A husband and wife charged after abuse allegations at a Knox County daycare went back to court today. Police charged Tracy Ford with abuse after police say someone saw her sitting on a child at the Rainbows and Lollipops daycare. Today, police testified that her husband, Billy Ford, later made a threatening phone call to the daycare demanding to know who took a picture of the alleged abuse. He's charged with intimidating a witness. A daycare worker we talked to today said she thinks Billy Ford meant to hurt someone.
I believe it is because everybody's scared of him, and I believe he would do something to hurt somebody.
Tracy Ford's case was continued until Thursday, but the judge sent her husband's case on to the grand jury.
Tonight, firefighters say they have contained most of a forest fire in Leslie County. They say at one point the fire near Old Highway 80 in the Wooten community threatened 5 homes and a business, but they were able to keep the fire from reaching those buildings. No one was injured in the fire. They say some grassy areas are still smoldering tonight. Firefighters say they have an idea of what caused the fire, but they are not saying what that is.
The power's back on tonight for about 1,200 customers who lost it near downtown Lexington. The power outage hit during the afternoon rush hour in an area between Loudon Avenue and West Main Street. Traffic lights in that area were also dark. KU leaders tell us that they're still trying to figure out what caused the outage. Most everyone had their power restored by 8 o'clock tonight.
The Catholic Diocese of Lexington has a new bishop tonight.
Dearly beloved, let us pray that the kindness of Almighty God in providing for the welfare of the Church will grant an abundance of His grace for this chosen one.
Bishop John Stowe was ordained this afternoon during a ceremony at the Cathedral of Christ the King. More than 1,600 people were on hand to watch. Pope Francis appointed Bishop Stowe to that position earlier this year. The diocese covers 50 counties in central and eastern Kentucky.